European and Japanese exchange. The beginning of May saw the dry run activities for Soyuz. The launcher rolled out to its new pad and 2 different countdowns were simulated. These activities tested and validated all the procedures necessary for its upcoming maiden launch from French Guiana. The Russian and European launch teams are now ready for the first Soyuz launch campaign, which will carry the first 2 satellites of the Galileo constellation for the European Space Agency.
In a symbolic gesture on May 7th, Jean-Jacques Dordain, ESA's Director General, handed the keys to the Soyuz launch facilities to Jean-Yves Le Gall. Present were CNES President Yannick Descatter and Vladimir Popovkin, Directors of Roscosmos.
Jean-Yves Le Gall and Antonio Fabrizi, ESA's Director of Launchers, recently signed 2 contracts for the maintenance of Ariane 5, strengthening ties between ESA and Ariane Space and reaffirming member states' contributions. A very, very busy period here at the space base, as you saw, which began a month ago in mid-April with the Vega testing and then the Flight 201 launch, and then on April 22nd, then the Soyuz dry run, and then capping that very busy period by tonight's launch, all happening at the CSG here, the world's only dedicated commercial space base, and Ariane Space running the launcher family. With Soyuz coming up now, here's a word from the new head of Roscosmos. 5 years in the making, the new launch site for Soyuz is now a reality. Here, the first Soyuz vehicle will lift off from French Guiana in the final quarter of this year. Bringing the famous Russian launcher to Europe's spaceport is a logical continuation of a collaboration that goes back a long way.
So, more generally speaking, we consider this is a fine example of cooperation between Russia and France. Many European countries have been involved in this project as well. And this is quite a significant project.
More Russian personnel have been arriving over the past few weeks. These launch teams have come from Baikonur to carry out the necessary final qualifications of the facilities.
At the end of the project, I think that relations between Russia, Cosmos, CNES, the European space agencies will have kicked into high gear, but we are in the launch process and not there yet. Therefore, we must prove that we're able to build a launch pad for Soyuz in French Guiana, but also that we're also able to do business in a field as complex as that of space technology.
The historic Soyuz has 1,770 launches to its credit, spanning over 50 years. But it has an even brighter future here in French Guiana as a key member of the Ariane family.
Today is a very important day for Ariane Space because we are going to start the exploitation of the Soyuz in French Guiana launch system. And this will give us a very competitive advantage because we will have the capability to launch all the satellites of all our customers. Today, Ariane 5 is the king of this market, but Ariane 5 is devoted to the launch of big satellites, and with Soyuz we will be able to launch all the medium-sized satellites on every orbit, and this will give us a very competitive advantage, allowing us to stay the leader in this market for many years.
During that film, we were picked up by our first downrange tracking station over the border in Brazil at a place called Natal. All of Ariane's trajectory, of course, has been designed to be followed from the ground. The launcher is sending back radar and telemetry to a network of stations. There are 5 of them downrange, which, of course, keep constant watch on the health of Ariane's vital systems. The antennas pick up the signal and follow her progress. The DDO has called it extinction of the upper stage. Now, this is the end, marking the end of the first half. You see what happens there? The first stage extinguished and separated from the mothership, and then the upper stage engine is ignited. These 3 orders happening right on time at about 186 kilometers up, as you can read on the lower left. And these 3 orders are given by the onboard computer all in a period of about 12 or 13 seconds. We're in the 3rd flight phase. Upper stage will burn for about 15 or 16 minutes. We're into the second half of the mission. We can start focusing on the satellites now, and to get us started, a film on India and its collaboration with Ariane Space. Ariane Space and India have worked together since the early 1980s. Satellites built by the Indian Space Research Organization have flown on all versions of the European launcher, from Ariane 1 to today's Ariane 5.
Thereafter, Ariane space launched satellites in the INSAT-1, SAT-2, SAT-3, and NSAT-4 families. GSAT-8 is therefore the 14th satellite launched by Ariane on behalf of ISRO. To this must be added 2 satellites manufactured by ISRO on behalf of private operators. Needless to say, Ariane Space and Ariane friends have been having relations for a long time and are fully aware of the needs of one another, which greatly facilitates mission preparation. What's more, personal ties between members of the two teams have been forged over the years. As the person in charge of Indian launches for many years, I know that ISRO is appreciative of Ariane Space's transparency and responsiveness.
ISRO satellites have evolved over the years. The first, launched by Ariane's third flight in 1981, weighed 670 kilograms. GSAT-8 weighs over 3 tons.
GSAT-8 is the most powerful satellite built by ISRO so far. It contains 24 high-power Ku-band transponders and a 2-channel navigation payload. The communication part of it is used for DTH applications, data collection, and the news gathering over the entire Indian territory. Yeah, this weather and the surrounding looks like a typical South Indian atmosphere. It is, if you remember, one of our center, VSSC, Trivandrum, place is exactly like this. We feel to be at home here in Guyana. And our friendship has lasted more than 30 years with the launch of Apple spacecraft on LO3 during 1981. And the facilities here are excellent, and we know all the facilities as much as Canis knows. So we can effectively utilize the facilities. We are well prepared to utilize all the facilities here to the best extent.
And GSAT-10 will be launched by Ariane at the end of next year. A nice testimonial there from Mr. Venkata Rao. We'll have another interview with him coming up later on. 12 minutes left, roughly, in the upper stage burn, the second stage carrying 12 tons of liquid oxygen and just over 2.5 tons of liquid hydrogen, compared to the first stage, which carried over 170 tons of fuel. It'll push Ariane across the Atlantic. A film on ISRO now. You can find out all about the builders of GSAT.
India's space effort has been specifically tailored towards enhancing the quality of life of the common man. India has made remarkable progress in developing the state-of-the-art space technology and its applications, which has become an important element of the national infrastructure. The space-enabled application programs of ISRO have played a vital role in benefiting the society and have brought in the societal transformation.
The Indian National Satellite System is one of the largest constellations of communication satellites in the Asia-Pacific region.
Gaining from the experimental satellites and applications of the 70s, the INSAT system evolved in the year 1983, with INSAT-1B in the orbit. Over the last 3 decades, we had 18 communication satellites, including the 8 satellites that are in operational service currently.
Today, India has capabilities in satellite communication that are comparable to the best in the world, providing a variety of services for telecommunications, broadcasting, DTH applications, weather monitoring, disaster warning, and data exchange for enabling economic activities. But our uniqueness lies in the applications of these satellites for societal programs like teleeducation, telemedicine, and village resource center that serve the common man.
GSAT-8 satellite that we are launching today would augment our communication capacity in Ku band with its 24 high-power transponders with footprint over the entire Indian landmass, including Andaman and Car Nicobar Islands. GSAT-8 carries a Gagan payload, also meant for satellite-based augmentation of GPS signals over India, for use by the Airports Authority of India. The entire design, development, realization, integration, simulation and testing of GSAT-8 is a testimony to India's technological maturity in this area. The Ku-band payload makes use of polarization-sensitive dual-gridded shaped reflectors, DGR, which is an indigenous effort. The development and testing of payload for GSAT-8 was carried out at Space Application Center of ISRO, and final integration of the payload with a satellite bus, along with the satellite-level testing, was performed at ISRO Satellite Center. ISRO's satellite launch vehicles are capable to launch 1-ton and 2-ton category satellites from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Shahar, the spaceport of India. The new multi-purpose satellite, GSAT-8, is weighing more than 3 tons. This is one of the largest and heaviest satellites which ISRO has developed till date. The GSAT-8 satellite was airlifted from Bangalore to French Guiana, Kourou, for its launch on board Ariane 5. At French Guiana Spaceport, GSAT-8 successfully underwent the spacecraft-level checkout operations before its final integration to the launch vehicle. The upcoming GSAT-8 launch will continue India's long-term relationship with launch services provided by the Ariane.
GSAT-8 is scheduled to be launched on board Ariane 5 launcher in its V-202 flight.
Ariane's signal has just been picked up by Ascension Island. That's our next downrange tracking station, tiny island in the South Atlantic. 7 minutes, roughly, to go in the upper stage burn. All is normal on board, says the DDO. Film on Melco coming up now, builders of ST-2.
Since the successful launch of the first satellite of the Electronic Systems Group Mitsubishi Electric in 1976, we have been participating in various government projects through manufacturing communication satellites, observation satellites, and engineering test satellites, and have grown to become a leading manufacturer of space systems. We manufactured Superbird C-2, Japan's first commercial communication satellite, successfully launched in August 2008 and delivered to the customer in October 2008.
We are in the process of strengthening our position in the global satellite market. And today, we are happy to announce that the ST-2 has finally come to the starting line of its dedication to services for people among many countries.
We at the Electronic Systems Group of Mitsubishi Electric, with our most advanced technology, are doing all that we can to realize a safe society with a rich future for every individual.
Ariane performing flawlessly. Our speed now on the bottom there, coming close to 8.5 kilometers per second, and our altitude 224 kilometers. We were picked up by our next downrange tracking station in Libreville in Gabon. Right now coming up, a film from Chungwa, one of the ST-2 partners. Take a look.
Zhonghua Telecom is the leading integrated telecom service provider in Taiwan in terms of subscribers and revenues. The company's extensive experience, organizational structure, and scale have allowed it to form major business partnerships with international telecom operators. Zhonghua Telecom endeavors to provide all-round information and communication service. We continue to receive favorable evaluations from professional observers.